If you've been thinking of a move to Parker, but you're a little overwhelmed with the amount of choices, different neighborhoods, subdivisions, this is going to be the only video you need to see. We're going to give you everything you need to know before you make the move to Parker, highlighting the different neighborhoods, pros and cons of each, and what it's like to live, work, and play in Parker. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Campman, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we explore all the wonderful neighborhoods in and around the Denver area, all the suburbs, and what it's like to live, work, and play here. So if you're thinking of a move to the Denver area, hit me up at the information on the screen. And please feel free to download my free relocation guide. Just came out with it. I've just started linking it in the video descriptions down below. Click on there, get you some good information on just some entry-level stuff on moving to Denver, even give you some of the things to do around here season by season and explore all the amazing things to do. So starting out with Parker, if you're not sure where this is, if you're just starting your search here in Denver, if you look at Denver's map and this kind of circle that encompasses Denver, that's the C470 corridor, and that kind of is a freeway that wraps all the way around Denver. Now part of this is a tollway only, so you do have to pay to be on the east side of this. And on the southeast corner of this tollway is where we get to the town of Parker. Now, Parker is a pretty large subdivision of Denver. Over 100,000 people live here now, and it continues to be growing and expanding. Here on the north end, where we're just south of C470, is the neighborhood we're going to explore first. It's the neighborhood of Cottonwood. Now this particular neighborhood is one of the older neighborhoods, one of the first developed ones as far as subdivision goes in the town of Parker. So you're going to find homes were built in kind of the late 80s, early 90s, and even into the early 2000s. This is also one of the few neighborhoods of Parker that is not going to have an HOA controlling it. So it is kind of a favorite of a lot of first-time home buyers because you will find a lot lower price points. You can even get something as under $500,000 for a single family home. This isn't going to be a massive home, and it's probably not going to have all the bells and whistles of a lot of the new construction homes that are around the Parker area, but it's a great place, a starter neighborhood that a lot of families choose when they're first moving into Parker. A lot of large cottonwood trees, a lot of mature landscaping in this area, which is also a big plus. And you also have a couple of large parks here and part of the Cherry Creek Trail that kind of runs through this neighborhood. So if you love to bike or cycle or just get out for a nice leisurely walk, it's a nice paved trail, a lot of places to explore nearby, and you can do a lot of outdoor activity without having quite as strenuous as things on the west end where it's a lot more hilly and kind of foothill mountainous terrain. So as I had mentioned, the average price point in this area is going to be around $500 to $550 for most of the homes, but you can find some single family homes under $500 in that $475,000 to $500,000 range. Now, as we move a little bit further to the south, we're going to get into a little bit newer neighborhoods, and we are going to get into more of our HOA regulated neighborhoods. So as we move further south, you're going to find the neighborhoods of Meridian and Sierra Ridge, and these are newer developments, and they kind of butt up to the town of Lone Tree. So there's a little bit of bleed over from those two, but most of it is still in Parker, and these are going to be upscale homes, a lot of luxury, some even semi-custom builds in this area, and price ranges in this particular neighborhood are going to be in that 800 plus range for most of the homes. Now I mentioned a lot of these are newer construction, so most of this development has been built up in the last 5 to 10 years, so you are finding homes that have higher ceilings, more open concept, all of your modern fixtures as far as color schemes, recessed lighting, and things like that. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit newer of a home, a little bit smaller of a yard, so you're going to have less yard maintenance to go in most of these neighborhoods, but you are going to have a larger scale home, newer neighborhoods, sidewalks, not quite as mature landscaping, but definitely a favorite of a lot of people looking for a somewhat established neighborhood, but still newer construction. As we continue to move south on Parker Road, I wanted to point out that Parker Road is kind of the main thoroughfare that just about everything in Parker feeds off of. There are some offshoots over to the west to get into Castle Rock and Lone Tree, streets like Lincoln to get you access into like I-25 and the Denver Tech Center, but most of your traffic flow in and out of Parker is going to flow on Parker Road. which is kind of nice for the simplicity of it, but God forbid there's an accident or traffic gets backed up on this. It's one of the only ways to get north and south in Parker. So as we go further south on the Parker Road, we're starting to get into the main street, or the heart of Parker. And this is where our downtown is. This is where parks are. This is where a lot of your local shopping, local bars, local restaurants, and kind of a blend of your newer big box store subdivision style living and your classic old town, small town, downtown area is as well. So if you move off to the east end of Parker Road on Main Street, you're going to find a charming little downtown with O'Brien Park. This is a very large park with a swimming pool for the kids in the summer, and it's a favorite of a lot of people to go and explore summer evenings. And they do have, you know, different live bands that frequent some of the bars and restaurants down here. There's also a local coffee shop, FICA Coffee House, which is very popular among the locals, and it just has that nice kind of charming old world feel to it of a small local downtown. You'll also find in this area Douglas County Library and a large park on the further east end of downtown, as well as the Pace Center, and this is Parker's live local theater. So it's kind of nice that you do have some options as far as local entertainment to go in Parker, because you are about 40 to 45 minutes away from the heart of downtown. If you're going to be commuting up to downtown for, say, sporting event or the theater down there, or some of the other events in Lodo, the lower downtown portion of Denver, it's going to be about a 45-minute drive, but you do have some options that are close by in the Parker area that you can go and experience and not have to deal with all the hustle bustle of the downtown Denver area. So you'll also find some newer developments mixed into this downtown area. They are building some condos in this area off to the east portion and just to the south. So you're going to find a mix of multifamily and single family homes in this area. And you're going to find some more established neighborhoods and some newer neighborhoods all blended together. And as you move a little bit further to the south, you're going to find more newer developments. But this is an area where a lot of it blends together. So some of the more historic homes in the Parker area built in the 70s and 80s are going to be in this pocket, but you're also going to find a lot of newer development. Condos are going to range in the $400,000 to $500,000 range for the newer style condominiums and townhomes, and then you will find some paired homes or duplexes in this area as well, and those are going to range from $500,000 to $600,000. These are kind of a favorite of people who are downsizing or empty nesters who are looking for less maintenance on their house, a little bit newer home where they don't have the maintenance to keep up with maybe their old home in Centennial or the Denver area. So it is a nice option for people looking to downsize and looking for something that's low maintenance, less expensive, and still close to some of the local amenities of downtown. Now, if we move further to the east side of Parker Road, in the same kind of area, just east of downtown Parker, we are going to find neighborhoods like Clark Farms and Stonegate, kind of a blend of entry-level and step-up neighborhoods. So you will find some of the neighborhoods in the Clark Farms area have more affordable homes in that $550,000 to $650,000 range, and then you will find some that are in that $700,000 to $800,000 range as well. So Clark Farms and Stonegate are a very nice blend of established neighborhoods but still affordable prices when you're considering all of Parker, and they're a really nice location because they're close to downtown Parker. They're also still close to that E470 tollway to get out to the airport if you need to get to travel a lot for work or just for pleasure, and it's also further to the west. So on the west side of Parker, you do have closer access to I-25 if you need to get up into the Denver Tech Center or downtown Denver or anything along that I-25 corridor. Neighborhoods on the west side are going to give you easier access, quicker access, and it's probably only a 5 to 10 minute commute depending on where you are in the neighborhood to I-25. these neighborhoods also are going to have HOA regulations with them, and each one is a little bit different on what they offer. Clark Farms offers a neighborhood pool and all your grounds maintenance and things like that, and some of the common areas and parks that are within it, and other ones do not come with the pool or some of those other amenities. So you always have to know exactly where you're looking and what amenities are important to you, and then what those HOA fees are going to cost and what you're getting for your money. Another thing you're going to find as you move further to the west is a little bit more parks, trails, and open space that are a little bit more developed than if you were to move farther to the east. On the east side of Parker, we're going to get into our more rural communities, things with acreage. If you have horses and you want acreage for goats or chickens, or just a little bit more space from your neighbors, the east side of downtown and the east side of Parker is probably going to be your best bet for that. But on the west side, you're going to find a little bit more established trail system and park system, so it's a favorite for families in that respect. You do have the Parker Field House, which is a large recreation center over here, offering gymnastics classes for kids and different things. Again, the Cherry Creek Trail also runs along this west side through these neighborhoods, so if you want to be bike riding up into Denver and explore a lot of the east end of the metro area, that's a great option for you as well. You can actually commute by bike up to work. It's going to be a long bike ride, but if that's what you're into, there you go. As we move a little bit further to the south, we're going to get into neighborhoods like Stroh Ranch on the west side. And again, this is has a little bit more trails and parks and things like that that are established. Also newer neighborhoods mixed in with a few of the older developments. A lot of things built in the early 2000s up till current day. And then as we move even further to the south, we're going to find a lot of new developments like Looking Glass, the trails at Crowfoot, and things that start to blend into South Parker and Southeast Castle Rock together. So if you're looking for newer construction, we're going to have to move a little bit further to the south to find most of those options. On the east end of Parker, and before we get further out into some of the rural communities and the things with acreage and horse property, we will find neighborhoods like Idlewild and Canterbury Crossing, and these are great neighborhoods with move-up style houses. So these are the homes that are going to be $750,000 to $900,000 in most cases. Not really a starter neighborhood or an entry-level neighborhood, but these are going to be a little bit more established. A lot of them built in the early 2000s and to the mid 2000s. That a lot of these neighborhoods over here, larger scale homes and larger scale lots. So you are going to get kind of the blend of both, whereas in Meridian and Sierra Ridge, you had larger homes, smaller lots, less maintenance. You're going to get a blend of both here on that east side in Idlewild and Canterbury Crossing. This is a favorite for a lot of people who want to be set apart. They don't have to commute quite as much because this is a further corner of Parker. If they're remote workers or maybe they work locally in the town of Parker owning a business or something like that, yeah, you can live in this particular neighborhood and not have to commute up to Denver very often, because you are adding probably 10 to 15 minutes to your commute being this much further east and south. In this area also, if you move just a little bit south of that, you'll find the Pinery. In this area, you're going to have a good blend of homes that are on large lots. It's going to have a more rural feel to it. There is a golf course down here, so if you want golf course style living, something in the Idlewild, Canterbury Crossing area, or down in the Pinery is probably going to be your best bet for that. Now, some pluses and minuses of the Pinery. You will find that it is a little bit more rural of a feel. It is further from everything in Parker, so you are looking for some quiet, set apart neighborhood that's not going to have really anything that's walkable to it. You're going to have to use a car, be car dependent, shopping, dining, going out for coffee experiences. Pinery and Idlewild are definitely going to be very, very car dependent. Now, benefit, you do have some more unique homes in this particular pocket. So while it's not your typical subdivision and it's not laid out like your typical grid style of neighborhoods where every third home on the block is the same model and it just repeats itself over and over again, you're going to find a lot of more uniqueness and a lot more historic charm, I guess, even though it's not technically a historic 1950s and previous neighborhood. blended in with the pinery, and just to the south of that, kind of on the edge of the end of the southern end of Parker before you get into Franktown, is also the Timbers neighborhood. Now this is more of an exclusive luxury style neighborhood where you're going to have custom homes built throughout. These are very large scale, 5,000 plus square feet homes, high-end finishes, a lot of mature landscaping. This is if you have a lot of money and you want to be set apart and not have to deal with very many neighbors or have very private style lot size and space. This is going to be a great neighborhood and a great option for you. Now, I had mentioned there are some places in Parker with a lot of acreage and things where you could have more of a homestead style feel. If you want to raise goats or chickens or have just more space from your neighbors. We'll move further to the east, and this will probably add another 15 minutes to your commute if you move out to one of these rural areas of Parker. But it kind of blends in. Parker and Elizabeth kind of mesh together in some of this area, but you can find a lot of homes that are on 5 to 10 acre lots. A lot of areas where you're not going to have HOA overrule or responsibilities to them. And homes in this area are going to depend on the size of the home. It really varies quite a bit. You can find something as low as maybe $700,000 for a 5 acre parcel, maybe a little bit older style home, ranch, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, up to 1 million, 1.5 million plus in this area if you have a newer, larger scale home still on 5 to 10 acres. All right, and as we finish up our kind of tour here, as we go further to the southeast Parker, this is where Castle Rock and Parker start to blend together a little bit. This street called Crowfoot Valley kind of blends two cities together, and two neighborhoods almost come together here. The McCanta development here in Castle Rock runs off of this road, and then you just go another mile down the road and it turns into Parker, and we see trails at Crowfoot and Looking Glass and some other brand new developments where Richmond America, Taylor Morrison, D.R. Horton, and some other builders are currently building up these homes. Now these are going to vary in price quite a bit, everything from $700,000 to $1 million plus in most cases. A lot of these are larger scale homes. D.R. Horton is probably the one that's going to be closest to entry level or starter style homes. But then once you get into Taylor Morrison and the Richmond style homes, they're going to be $900,000 plus. And they are starting to build a lot more homes with what we call multi-gen suites, or what we used to call mother-in-law suites, where they have kind of a separate apartment within the house. It could be totally separated and set off, just a hallway with a door, and then there's an entirely different living space complete with kitchenette, bedroom, living area, bathroom, closet, everything for basically a 1-bedroom apartment style living. And we're seeing that a little bit more common in these newer developments that are down here. So if you're thinking of a move and you can bring in a parent with you, or parents bringing their kids with them that are all going to share a house, this can be a good option for that. Now these homes also are going to come with HOA overrule and oversight, so something to consider when you're making your purchase here. Again, prices starting in that $800,000 to $900,000 range. Downsides to this are usually a little bit higher HOA and higher property taxes in these newer developments. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tour of Parker and gave you a kind of a snippet of every single different neighborhood that is around that you guys can explore. To really get a good feel of that when you come out here to tour some of these different neighborhoods and places, it's great to meet up and we can discuss your home search and exactly what you're looking for. Because if you saw homes in this particular video that you really liked and you thought, man, that's great, but I don't know, Parker just seems a little bit too far away. We have so many different neighborhoods where we're going to find similar homes and similar styles to these neighborhoods as Parker in different pockets of the metro area. So if Parker wasn't quite your jam, reach out, because I got tons of different neighborhoods where we can find the exact style and of neighborhood and exact style of house that you're looking for when you make your move to Denver. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to download that free relocation guide while you're here, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.